In 2008, the world stood on the edge of financial disaster. Stock markets collapsed, banks crumbled, and millions lost everything: homes, jobs, and life savings. But how did it happen? And could it happen again? This is the story of how unchecked greed, risky bets, and Wall Street's recklessness nearly brought down the global economy, and the lessons you need to know to protect your future. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because understanding history is the key to securing your financial future. It was the worst financial disaster since the Great Depression. Trillions of dollars vanished overnight. Families lost their homes, banks crumbled, and entire countries fell into recession. But this wasn't just an accident. It was a crisis fueled by corporate greed, reckless gambling, and a system designed to fail. To understand how the 2008 crisis unfolded, we need to go back to the early 2000s. Home prices were soaring, and banks were handing out mortgages to anyone who asked, even those who couldn't afford them. But behind the scenes, something dangerous was happening. The new lax lending requirements and low interest rates drove housing prices higher, which only made the mortgage-backed securities and CDOs seem like an even better investment. Wall Street saw an opportunity. Instead of worrying about whether borrowers could pay their loans, banks bundled bad mortgages together and sold them as investments. These mortgage-backed securities and collateralized debt obligations, CDOs, were highly profitable, but also ticking time bombs. These credit default swaps were also turned into other securities that essentially allowed traders to bet huge amounts of money on whether the values of mortgage securities would go up or down. But here's the catch. These investments were junk, yet rating agencies like Moody's and Standard & Poor's stamped them as the highest rating possible. Why? Because the more securities they rated highly, the more money they made. They gave a lot of these mortgage-backed securities AA ratings, the best of the best. And back when mortgages were only for borrowers with good credit, mortgage debt was a good investment. By mid-2007, cracks started to form. Homeowners began defaulting on their mortgages, and suddenly, those safe investments were worthless. Panic set in. Banks that had bet trillions on real estate faced a catastrophic meltdown. The sentries were not at their posts, in no small part due to the widely accepted faith in the self-correcting nature of the markets and the ability of financial institutions to effectively police themselves. Then came the moment of truth. Lehman Brothers, one of the biggest banks on Wall Street, collapsed under its own debt. The US government refused to bail them out, and within hours, the global financial system was in free fall. As this was happening, the big financial institutions stopped buying subprime mortgages, and subprime lenders were getting stuck with bad loans. By 2007, some really big lenders had declared bankruptcy. In the chaos that followed, millions of Americans lost their jobs and homes. The US government rushed in with a $700 billion bailout to prevent total collapse. But the damage was done. The world had entered the Great Recession. No one knew exactly how bad the balance sheets at some of these financial institutions really were. These complicated, unregulated assets made it hard to tell. Did we learn our lesson, or is history doomed to repeat itself? Let us know in the comments. The 2008 financial crisis changed the world forever, but history has a way of repeating itself. Have we truly learned from our mistakes, or are we heading toward another collapse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Could another financial crisis happen soon? And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest financial events in history. Thanks for watching The Financial Blueprint, your guide to understanding money, markets, and financial power. See you in the next video.